Hi, Tim here with my day 26 update. For those who haven't seen previous videos, I'm releasing a video every day on my juice fast. I'm attempting to lose a total of 32 kilograms, which is around 70 pounds, in a 56-day juice fast. So today is day number 26 and my 26th video about the whole process. So feel free to look at some of my other videos and go back and see how I went on a particular day. Now the reason I'm doing this every day is there's a couple of reasons, I guess. But reason number one is for self-motivation. I'm pushing myself by putting myself out there in the public spectrum, so to speak. I'm to a large degree forcing myself to stay on it, even though it's not really, I'm not finding it a hard thing to do. But early on I thought that was going to be important to make sure that I didn't want to just give up after a few days. But being out there, people are more inclined hopefully to be watching what I'm doing and offering encouragement, and that's certainly worked so far. I'm getting more and more people following what I'm doing, leaving comments, and look, those comments are inspiring me as well, so please do click that like button and leave some comments. It helps me on my journey, and hopefully the other people down the track who are watching these videos, they can look at the videos and read the comments, and they're going to be actually enthused by this process as well. So overnight, or since yesterday, I've lost 0.2 of a kilogram again, which is about half a pound, around about half a pound, bringing my total weight loss to a total of 12.3 kilograms, which is just over 27 pounds. So everything is still going good, and as I've said before in previous videos, I've lost weight every single day since I started my juice fast. So there you go, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, as promised, I wanted to have a little bit about a couple of things first. I wanted to talk about water. If you are on a juice fast, are you drinking water? Because the fact is, you need to be drinking quite a bit of water. The thing is with water is people can survive for weeks without food, but you can't survive for more than, say, up to 10 days at the most without water. Water is really the essential thing in our body. And as we grow up and get older and turn into adults, become adults, we're not able to really figure out in many cases when we are thirsty, particularly when you're overweight. It's very, very common for overweight people to get confused with thirst and hunger. Now that's one of the things that I'm finding now in this juice fast, is I'm now getting a better idea of what hunger is, and I'm not actually experiencing hunger very often. I get a little bit, it'll be nice to eat, but before this, when I was eating the wrong types of foods, the fast foods, I would get a very much, I have to eat this now type thing. It was like an urgent type thing, and let's face it was an addiction. It was the sugars and the trans fats and the other unhealthy stuff they're putting into those foods, which was basically what my body was addicted to. I was addicted to. And now that I've moved into a juice fast, I'm not getting those anymore. So I think I'm clearer now on what my feeling of thirst is. So consequently, I'm drinking plenty of this stuff, plenty of the water fluid. So I suggest you do that. It's very, very important to be doing that. Now, there's not just drinking water, but obviously the types of foods you eat will also affect your dehydration, whether you are dehydrated or not. Just to give you a few stats: cucumber 96% water, celery 94% water, spinach 92%, carrot 90%, and apples 85%. That's just a rough idea there. So you can see that's one of the reasons why juice fasts are good for you, because of course some of those fruits and veggies that I've just actually read out are obviously key components of juice fasts, and they've got lots of water in them. So you are helping by drinking, but don't think that just because you're juicing, if you are following along, that's enough. You need to have quite a bit of water. I'm thinking, well, I'm having 1 to 2 litres a day. Plus, I'm really quite drinking a lot. And look, I'm not gulping it down. What I tend to do is, this is about a 500 ml glass of water, and I'm tending to fill one of those up and just drinking it and just sipping it over time. And I think that's a lot better than just sort of trying to gulp it down and thinking, well, I've only got 2 times in this day, or 2 periods of this time, my time available. I'm going to just scull 500 mils at a time. Rather, it's better I think to sip it over the course of the day. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I've been meaning to talk about this for quite a bit of time, is alkaline. Now, the body sort of ranges between acidic and alkaline, and basically sick people are traditionally almost always very acidic. And I'm talking about the pH level in your blood. Now the thing is with your blood, generally speaking, the scale, and look, bear in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be a doctor. This is just information I've learned in research. So take it as you will. You need to do your own research to back this up. But I've certainly spent a bit of time doing this. The blood level in the pH scale is normally between 7.25 and 7.45. a very small sort of range that it's between. And in actual fact, if your pH level in your blood goes below 6 or above 8, you can actually die from organ failure. So consequently, your body is doing all this automatically. It's trying to maintain that healthy level to keep you alive, basically. So the more bad sorts of foods that you're putting into your body, you're lowering it to a more acidic state, and that's causing dramatic problems with your body, because it has to overcompensate and try and figure out how am I going to deal with this very acidic type food. So it has to find a way to deal with it, basically. So you might rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. So to keep you alive, it might actually have to almost damage another part of your body. That's really how it works, because the pH level is just so critical to be maintained. And by the way, pH level is, if you've got a swimming pool, if you check your pH level, same sort of level, but we're talking obviously bloodstream here. Anyway, so as I said, the body tries to do anything it can to maintain that level, and whatever you eat and drink can affect that. As I said, sick people generally are very acidic. They're very sort of low on the pH scale, and it's the better and more fit that you are, the more alkaline in general you are. Generally speaking, there's if you believe in the alkaline diet, that is promoting for you to eat more alkaline-based foods with high amounts of alkaline, because the theory is alkaline equals healthy generally. So if you're putting more of that type of food into your body, and your body is liking that, and it's actually doing good for your body. So that's the theory. And I guess it's probably more important when you're overweight and unfit and unwell because you're probably naturally down the scale, being more acidic. So consequently, you probably need more alkaline type stuff. So just to give you an idea, some of the best alkaline-based foods, avocados, which unfortunately don't juice too well, but lemon and lime, which I've talked about before, tomato, they're all very, very high in alkaline, very lots of alkaline in them basically. And kale is very good, and soy sprouts, just to give you a bit of a sample. And look, there's lots of other ones, and you can find websites online that give you a good range of what all these ones are. But lemon and lime, which I've talked about quite a bit before. Some of the other ones that you might be interested to know is coffee and tea are highly acidic, very, very, very highly acidic, very, very bad for you. Basically what they do is when you drink them, they basically shock your body. So that response, that upper that you're feeling when you actually have coffee or tea, especially if you haven't had it for a while, that's like a jolt. Your body is getting jolted into a negative state of acidic. Incidentally, herbal tea is actually better. Herbal tea is in the middle, and it's just a little bit alkaline. It's certainly a lot better than normal teas and coffees, but I mean, ideally it's probably better to be skipping those all the time. Did you know most breads and dairy is acidic? Meat is acidic as well. Soft drink and fruit juice you buy from your grocer or your supermarket, very acidic normally as well. But the message here, I think, is balance. So, as overweight people, well, certainly in my case, I can't speak for you, I can speak for myself. I was eating lots of very unhealthy food. All those foods on the lists, the bad stuff. Lots of dairy. I was always been a dairy person. Lots of breads and meat and so forth. All very acidic. So consequently, not only was I packing on the kilos, but obviously it's very unhealthy for my body as well. So I'm just thinking with this juice fast, the reason I'm using lots of lemon and lime, and some of those other things where I can find them, is that it's actually pumping in good stuff. So not only am I getting the benefits of the traditional juice fast anyway, by still putting in food that is very healthy, but I'm also getting an added bonus with the extra alkaline. And look, please don't think I'm saying that you shouldn't be eating any acidic type food, because that's certainly not the message, and the research that I've done doesn't say that. But it talks about a balance. It talks about increasing the alkaline amount that foods that have got alkaline in them, increasing the use of those. So we're not talking about getting rid permanently of dairy, bread and meats, although it's probably not a bad thing to do that if you can. And I'm certainly going to consider whether I can do that at the end of my 56 days. But it's more a balance. I think generally in alkaline diet, the ones you see promoted on the internet, I think they're about a 70-30. So they're saying 70% of the stuff you have should be alkaline. Because look, your body still can use those things. Obviously, meat's got a really good source of protein, so you don't want to necessarily get rid of meat unless you're a vegetarian and you don't eat meat. But fish is also very good in protein, but it's still acidic. So that balance. So you'd probably be able to counter that by having a salad and having lots of greens with your meat or whatever your main dishes or your fish. And by the way, the ones that I've mentioned, the lemon and lime and avocado, they've got the most, they've got the most alkaline, or give your body the most alkaline of virtually any of the other fruits and vegetables. There's still other ones that are on a sliding scale that can still help you, but just not in the range, not as much as those foods do. And obviously some other foods are very healthy. Grapefruit, for example, even though it's not high in alkaline, in fact it's just slightly acidic, has got other benefits as well. So we're not, again, I'm not saying just focus on alkaline only. That would be a mistake, because that's not a balance. So we're trying to balance what you're eating here. And look, just looking back on what you've eaten in the past, if you're like me, you probably had very, very little alkaline-based food, because basically nothing nothing in junk food is alkaline. No surprises there. It's all acidic and just basically bad for you. Coffee, if you like me, coffee, soft drinks, diet sodas, very, very high. Lots of acid in them, very acidic, so very, very bad for your body, basically. Alright, well, I just wanted to go through and mention that. I've been trying to get the chance to do that for a few days, and I hope that's helped, and I'll be back tomorrow with my day 27 update. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you then. Cheers for now.